Hello Internet, it's me Category again, back here with another little bit of a Wargame Archaeology. Not going too far into the past this time though, with a issue of Strategy and Tactics back from 2010. This one is Wurzburg Pentomic. So the game in here is Cold War Battles 2, which has a couple of scenarios. Wurzburg Pentomic, the battle that never was. This is US forces versus the Soviets in Germany just after World War II, so really the quite early Cold War, talking sometime in the 50s. And there's another game of Kabul 79 of the Soviet invasion into Afghanistan. So let's take a little look at the magazine, let's have a look at the game and the components that come with it, and see just how modern things were in 2010. So it's quite a thick magazine, this one. So plenty of pages and real good quality print. You know, this is a real modern magazine style. But what I have found with the first little cursory flicks of this is it's not as nostalgic with the advertising as the real old issues are, or at least I don't find it to be. Let's see what's covered. So, got an article there about Kabul 1979, about the Soviet incursion into Afghanistan, taking the capital there. Again, this is a lot of background for one of the main games in this magazine, one of the main scenarios, should I say. Now to the Pentomic Army. So this article is a bit about the real post-war early nuclear age and how the US Army was readjusting to work in a nuclear battlefield, not just in how they react, but also how they go on the offence with the Davey Corcket. What a terrifying piece of weaponry that would have been. A recoilless rifle with a nuclear shell, effectively, field deployable very easily. It never got used, as far as I'm aware, it never got used in any real conflicts, but it's exactly the kind of weapon which could have led to the Fallout universe being a reality. But this looks like a test firing of it there. This is the game that's included in this magazine. And we've got a little bit of a designer's notes about showing where some of their thoughts going through it. And here we've got an article on Caesar Triumphant. So the expansion of the Roman Empire into Spain, by the look of it. Very, very early, 45 BC. They'll talk all about the battle here. That's good. This work in progress is going to be a little ask about games that are coming up in the future magazines from here and what's being worked on. And here is the rules for Cold War Battle 2. So it's a 3-column layout, quite small text, all in all, and in the standard case format, which is, well known for wargame rules. And it's got some good little diagrams detailing the counters and what the different units are going to be represented by. Again, it is quite a small text, and let's just see how many pages of rules there are. So, up until the special rules for each. So it's only 8 or 9 pages, but where it's 3 columns, small text, it could have taken up a lot more than those 8.5 pages. Then you got the setup rules for the Wurzburg Pentomic scenario. And then you've got the setup for Kabul 79 here. And moving into the optional rules, atomic weapons coming into play, like that Davey Corcket that we saw earlier. Recon screening. And that's it. All in all, with the scenarios and rules, 16 pages. So quite a tight one, but like I said, with the small text, it could have padded out a few more pages than that if it was larger text. Oh, naval gunnery in 1812. I'm still looking to get a Farsees to the table, which I looked at recently, because, you know, although I've not played anything real naval, and that isn't strictly a truly naval game, I still want to play something that's a bit more on the sea. There we go, looking at what's coming, old issues. Oh, Operation Sea Lion. So a nice little breakdown of Hitler's plans to invade Britain would have looked like, and this is a what if that I'd really like to find a good game to play on. So if you've got any suggestions for Operation Sea Lion games, let me know in the comments, and it'll be something I really look into. Oh, to point with the British Home Army, a bit of a Dad's Army fan. So you go, got a couple of adverts here, and like I said, they don't have the same nostalgic feeling that the old 80s magazine article adverts did. And a 2-page spread advert of games from Decision Games. Backed by popular demand, the Folio series. See this advert it reminds me of the Sega adverts from the comics in the 90s. You know, it just doesn't have the same vibe as the 80s magazine games had. So let's have a little look at the components that come with it. First of all, the counter sheet. Just one counter sheet. Normal magazine counter sheet. It's a bit thinner than you get in a box game, but it's relatively sturdy. And it's all well clear counters. So here's the ones for Kabul 79. You can clearly read all the text on them very well. It's the standard NATO symbols for the different units. Here's the Wurzburg Pentomic counters on this side. Again, still very clear. The registration is a little off to the right a little bit. All the info on the counters is a bit off to the right, so it might... There's nothing really on the corners there, so I think they'll still clip nicely. And here, oh, look, plenty of counters for Mushroom Cloud, so yeah, that's what I'd really like to play. I want to see these Davey Crockets, see the nuclear effects on the battlefield. And again, the double-sided counters, a lot of them, so again, the printing is... The registration seems a bit tighter on the back, so I think it might have been just slightly offset there as well, but all in all, for a sheet of counters for a magazine game, they've done a good job there. It's all very clear, very readable. Plenty of them. Yeah, 280 counters, standard half-inch. So let's take a little look at the map sheet. So I'll try and zoom out a bit for it to catch it all. It's a good sized map sheet. It fits my gaming area very well. And you've got a standard player rates here. So you've got a bit of a terrain effects chart here and some combat results table. And up in the corner, a turn record track. But there are two separate maps on this sheet. So you've got this side for the Eastern German area around Wurzburg for the 1950s battle between the United States forces and the Soviets. And over here you've got the area around Kabul for Kabul 79 for the Soviets going into Afghanistan. I really like this map. It's all really clear, but each individual hex you can tell exactly what type of terrain it is. But at the same time, it does have a bit of an artistic quality to it. It's got some good shape to it. It's not just block colours. There is some texture behind it all. So it's really clearly legible, and you can just look at it and know, like, oh, there's the woods, there's the hills, there's the towns, here's the rough areas. So I think it works really well. The hexes are quite small, so with the half-inch counters, you know, if there's going to be stacks, it might start to feel a bit crowded. But because they've had to give you two different maps for the two very different battlefields, you know, you can't you wouldn't be able to use a geomorphic board really to show Germany and Kabul. They're such different terrains that I think that what they've done here to fit them on the map is good. The only thing that I think that might be a bit strange is just the fact that it's so strangely shaped. I'm not sure how that'll play out tactically, but I mean, when I get around to clipping and playing this game, I'll know better. But I thought if they just had two halves and the terrain effects chart, etc., in the middle, maybe would have been a bit more straightforward. But I'm sure they've done it for a reason. I'm sure there's the designers thought of that for the terrain they wanted for the scenario they're trying to tell you. Yeah, overall, it's thick paper, but get it under a bit of plexiglass, it'll be brilliant. So overall, I'm quite excited to play this Wurzburg Pentomic. I'm not so excited about Kabul 79. It's just the Afghanistan invasion. It's just not as interesting to me as the early Cold War nuclear threat. The real, like I mentioned, the real full-out trigger kind of battle. That's what really intrigued me enough to pick up this magazine. And as you can see from these nice nuclear strike counters, who doesn't want to see mushroom clouds all over the field? So, have you played either of the scenarios of this game? What did you like about it? Are there any other Cold War games that you guys recommend? Because although I never thought I'd enjoy Cold War gaming, since I picked up World War 85, I've just absolutely fallen in love with the era. So of course, any other ways I can explore it, I'm really interested to. So yeah, drop me a comment if you've got anything to say. But until next time, happy gaming!